Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Wild Moon Lacquer. In today's video we are doing some nail polish sorting again. This is a combination of a number of the mystery box polishes that I've put in the keep pile, and it's really time to sort them all out, pick the ones that I'm going to be putting into my fall rack because that video is coming up in just a couple of days. And I also want to set aside some polishes for the ones that I want to do some comparisons of and maybe fine tune what I'm actually keeping if I come across a polish that upon a second review, I'm not super excited about it to keep it. So we've got a lot to cover. This is only tote one of about 4 that I'm going to try to go through. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to get all of them sorted in one video because that's a lot of polish. I have no idea how many we're looking at least, I don't know, 300 bottles possibly across the 4 boxes, but it's a lot. It's a lot. So let's go ahead and just jump in. I'm going to fast forward through most of the sorting aspect of it, and then after that we will come back and talk about each individual color family or category that I've put together. Let's get started. Well, I meant to have all that filmed for you, this sorting part, and turns out I forgot to press the record key after fiddling with my camera. So we're just going to have to pretend that you saw all of this for this first portion of it. I think what I'm going to do, just to make it easier to see all of the same similar colors together, is we're going to start by categorizing them by color like I've done here in sort of a rainbow-ish order, and then set aside a basket of each color, and then do more sorting with more of the boxes until we have a box full of just a similar color category to come back and sort through one at a time to pull fall colors, and it'll be a lot easier that way to do some comparisons as we go. Alright, so this is the first chunk of colors that we're going to be taking a look at and going through for my fall rack and for any potential dupes. We have our berries into burgundies, into reds and oranges, the burnt shades of like terracotta all the way to the brighter shades and some like mustardy squash colors. And then we have a little section of golds, silvers, and some nudie shades. This probably isn't all of them, but this is the majority of them in this color range. The rest of them are like gray grays, and these are more neutral colors. So we're gonna start up here at the top with these berry to burgundies. Let's see, this one and this one. These ones might be similar to each other. We have Nail Hoots, Sweat Into the Oldies, Ethereal's Wanda, and the Nail Bazaar's Aries. And they aren't necessarily dupes. I think Sweat Into the Oldies and Wanda are a bit closer to each other. Aries might be a little bit darker, so we'll put that one back. Of these two, are they similar enough that I can justify keeping both, or do I need to get rid of one? I think, wow, I say I'm going to do destashing and then I always find it hard. Wanda is a bit redder. Sweat Into the Oldies has more of a rich berry tone to it, but red is one of those colors I don't wear all that often. So I think that's the first one that we're going to go ahead and do a little swatch and compare. So this one is the Ethereal. I know, baby girl. I've got nail polish open up here, sweet honey. I don't want you up here. It's not good for you. She's gotten so used to being up here with the boxes. She can't understand why she's not allowed up here right now. Silly girl. So yeah, that one from Nail Hoot is more berry leaning. Now this, of course, is just one coat of each, but the Ethereal's on the left. The Nail Hoot is on the right. Definitely pinker. Okay, so here we have the two coats. Again, Ethereal's on the left, the Nail Hoot's on the right. So there's definitely more of a bright fuchsia pink in that Nail Hoot. It's a little bit red leaning, but the Ethereal is definitely a cherryish red. They're both very similar in their formulations. They both have a lot of beautiful holographic in them. I do still have a couple of my red polishes that I had out for my summer rack. One of them was this one, which was, I believe, Cupcake polish. Yeah, Cupcake Sunberry to Love. How does that compare? Sunberry to Love is actually pretty similar to the Ethereal, surprisingly. Like very, very similar. I mean, I'm sure there are minute differences. The one from Cupcake might be a bit, maybe a little bit darker. Let's see how they compare in the bottle. Yeah, I mean, that is close enough for a not red fan like I am. I don't remember if I ever got around to wearing the Cupcake from my summer rack. So I think I will go ahead and pass along the Ethereal. I really like it for a red, but if I have something similar enough to it in my collection already, I don't need to hold on to another one. So we're going to go ahead and pass on the Ethereal. I think I will go ahead and hold on to the Nail Hoot for the time being. Color comparisons are definitely in order, but I do like this enough. It is definitely more on the dark pink side than the red side, so I do want to hold on to that one for the time being. All right, then we have some more deeper shades of these hollows. We've got at least 3. I don't think they're dupes necessarily. Again, I think 2 of these are more similar than the third. The mystery prototype from Different Dimension does seem to be more of a brick cream with hollow in it, whereas again, Aries from the Nail Bazaar and Briar Rose from A England are closer. Let's go ahead and swatch the Different Dimension. I think I'm going to end up doing a lot more swatching than I was planning on doing initially, but I want to see how this one looks. All right, so the one from Different Dimension is practically a one coater. That has less hollow on the nail. It's more of like a scattering, but it is a really beautiful shade. Briar Rose from A England is a lot brighter. it is more of a dusty deep rose than this one from Different Dimension, which is almost more brick or brown leaning. There is a lot more of the linear holographic, I feel, on that A. England. I'm always impressed with the formula from A. England as well, so I'm probably going to hold on to that one regardless. I think I will add that to my possibilities for the fall rack as well, but I do want to compare the Nail Bazaar color Aries. That's the one that we've been looking at off and on. Okay, so this is a jelly formula. So here it is in that one coat. It is a squishier formula. So definitely different than what I thought it would be. I don't think it's going to be nearly as dark on the nail as those two, or at least probably not. All right, so that is 2 coats. Bit of an uneven second coat, so sorry about that. But that does have a really nice juicy look on the nail. Might actually be closer in tone to the one from Nail Hoop, but they are completely different formulations. The jelly base provides a different look on the nail than the more cream formula from Nail Hoop. So I think for the time being, I will go ahead and add both of these to my collection. I think though I will go ahead and add the Different Dimension to my D-stash. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous color, but the holo doesn't show up nearly as much on the nail as I would prefer for this color in a holo. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pass that one along and keep these two. And then I will go ahead and add the A. England to my little box for my fall nail rack. All right, so we're whittling down slowly our shades here. I think the next ones that I want to look at are actually these multichromes here. I do have 3 of them. The first one is Ethereal's Taurus. The second one is Vapid's Meow Meow Space Tiger. And the third one is Fancy Gloss's Graveyard Ghouls. Are any of these magnetic? Okay, so 1 out of the 3 is magnetic, so that does make it pretty different from the other 2. So we will go ahead and immediately add the Fancy Gloss Graveyard Ghouls to my collection and my fall potentials. So that leaves these 2 for comparison. So right off the bat, I am seeing some differences between how they swatch the formulas and the types of pigmentation. The one from Ethereal has a larger particled multichrome, and the one from Vapid has a smaller particle. It's also a bit more of a dense metallic, whereas the one from Ethereal almost has like a multichrome shimmer to it. Both do have similar shifts. I think you can see the density though of the one from Vapid. So I'm curious how that's going to look with a second coat. So here's that second coat. I think you can really see the difference now between the types of pigment. The one from Ethereal has that larger particle size, and the one from Vapid has more of a metallic sheen in that multichrome. So they do have pretty major differences when you start comparing them like that. I really do like how both of them look. They have a similar vibe on the nail as far as like a deepened sort of bronzy and pink mixed with a green shift. So they do have similar shifts going on. I will say the one from Vapid does come off a bit darker. The one from Ethereal has a bit more of a pink glow to it by comparison, but pretty similar. I am trying to decide how necessary it is to have both, because I really, really like the Meow Meow name of the Vapid, but I'm leaning towards actually liking the one from Ethereal a little bit better as far as actually wearing it for myself. But I could wear the Vapid as well. Do I need to have both in my collection? Wow, I didn't think this one would be that hard because I figured they would be similar enough that I wouldn't feel the need to have both, but my goodness. Oh my goodness, hopefully they don't look identical on camera so you guys aren't like, get a hold of yourself, Caroline, they're identical. Well, I can't make myself decide on these. Yeah, they're both absolutely gorgeous, and on the swatches they are just different enough that they are definitely not dupes. And I think I could see myself wearing both of them at different times. This one is actually the one that I'm thinking of adding to my fall rack. That's the one from Vapid, which was called Meow Meow Space Tiger. It's got that deeper fall vibe to it that I really like, but I can't make myself get rid of this one. This is actually the one that I'm leaning more towards as far as liking the type of shimmer that's in it, it's definitely not going anywhere. So that is going to stay in the ones going into my collection. But yeah, just wow, I really thought I'd be able to destash one of those. Let's go ahead and do the redder ones. We have a couple of the redder leaning polishes. They are completely different finishes, so there's definitely not any dupes. We have a like red hollow that is called She's Still Preoccupied with 1985 from Static Lacquer. We have more of a glitter, possibly, yeah, glitter thermal from MTK called Blood Mist. A red particled glitter from Virago called We Can Still Be Friends. And then a red Crelly with blue glitter from Cadillacquer called Requiem. So 4 very, very different polishes. Do I need 4 more red polishes? That is the question. I think I will go ahead and destash the Cadillacquer. I like it. It's really, really cool. But I am realizing that I just don't reach for this kind of polish that often. And I am trying to be better. I know saying that after I couldn't destash either the ethereal or the vapid seems kind of silly, but I am trying to be a bit more ruthless about cutting polishes that I might like, but maybe just don't see myself wearing. I do need to cut down on my collection. So we will be going ahead and letting the Cadillacquer go. And then of these 3, I do really like the glitter. I like the tone of this red glitter base. Sort of reminds me of like Ruby Slippers, I think from China Glaze. So I think I'll go ahead and hold on to this maybe just for some comparisons and see how it goes. The one from MTK also has a really beautiful array of these red holographic glitters. I'm not too sure what color this turns into when it is warm, but I like the berry lean to this, and I don't think I have any red thermals, so I do want to hold on to that one. And then this one is interesting. I think I'm going to go ahead and swatch that, see how I like the tone. It's kind of unusual. Okay, this is actually an orange. Wow. Did not see that coming. So this is orange. Did you guys see that as orange in the bottle? I certainly didn't. That was red to me. So let's go ahead and see how it looks in a second coat as soon as this one dries. So here it is in 2 coats. I mean, that's an orange. That is a very vibrant, deep shade of orange, but that's an orange. Interesting. Wow. That is not how I was seeing that in the bottle. Anyone else totally thrown by that? Wow. Let's compare it to one of our oranges then. I have Devil's Delight from Fancy Gloss, which might be a magnetic or might be a thermal. It's a magnetic, so those are going to be different, but they might be similar in the base color tone of orange, sort of a burnt, deep, saturated orange. But not similar enough to really compare beyond that. So this throws a whole new light onto this color. I kept it because I thought it was a very interesting shade of deep, deep red with a very interesting bright red glow to it. Maybe you guys are seeing this as orange on camera and I'm just looking like a lunatic. Who knows? In any case, I think I will go ahead and pass this one along. I love my oranges, but I am more interested in the terracotta shades. I mean, you should see my fall rack right in front of me. It's covered in terracottas and pumpkins and this kind of color here, this brown leaning red. I love that color. With so many of those oranges on my fall rack, I just don't know that I would reach for this one. So we will go ahead and pass Static Lacquer. She's Still Preoccupied with 1985 on to someone else. This one's interesting enough and unique enough that I don't think I would really have anything to compare it to. This one is Moonshine Manny's The Santa Claus, but I do want to see how this one swatches. I didn't really take a look at it as far as how it swatches when I did unbox it in the mystery box. So I want to see how it looks. So this one is a bunch of red, black, and gold glitters and micro flakies. Definitely has some top abilities. That's what I kept it for, was the potential for a topper or an accent nail. I think there's also some larger flakies in there that might be multichrome. But I think I will go ahead and pass this one along. I really wanted to keep it because it is a Moonshine Mani, and I do really like Moonshine Mani, but I just don't know that I would end up reaching for this one. So we're going to just cut it there. We're going to put it in the D-stash. Next up, let's do a comparison of these two. These are kind of similar, actually. So we have Glisten and Glow's Fire and Zombie Claw's Voluptuous. They're sort of similar. I, again, don't think that they're going to be dupes necessarily, but they are both sort of a red metallic or hollow base in the case of the Glisten and Glow, with some glitter components as well. So yeah, sure enough, they definitely aren't dupes, but they are similar in vibe. They're that red metallic-y, holographic-y base with some sparkling glitters. The one from Zombie Claw is a bit deeper. The one from Glisten and Glow is almost more like a coral lean to it with all of that holographic rainbow popping up. Again, trying to decide which of these I would wear. I did like both of them, obviously, when I did the unboxing, and I do think both of them are pretty unique. That combination of the metallic and the glitter is really fun, but, oh man, here I was again thinking I could at least easily destash one of them, and man. Caroline, you don't wear red that often. Oh man. So I like them for different reasons. The hollow one, the Glisten and Glow, is really intense and beautiful. It provides a rainbow dance on the nail, which is one of the things I absolutely adore about hollow. You see the orange and purple popping up, but then I really like the amount of glitter that's in the one from Zombie Claw. I think that's really, really fun and different. So you know what, we're not fighting with that. We're just keeping both. I know, very surprising. That leaves the 3 remaining berry red shades. The middle berry from KB Shimmer is Such a Vlad, and that one is definitely more of a berry shade. The one from Glam is If the Apocalypse Comes, Beep Me, is definitely more of a glitter flaky bomb. And then the one from Sweet and Sour is Electric Pink, which is a straight up hollow. So again, not dealing with dupes necessarily, but do I need all 3? Well, I really like the one from KB Shimmer. It is a really beautiful deep shade for fall. So I think we're gonna just try to hurry up because, like I said, I wasn't expecting to end up doing this much swatching, and I don't want to keep you guys here for like 4 hours for one video. But we're going to add the KB Shimmer to my potentials for the fall rack, and then let's go ahead and we're going to keep the Glam polish. I can almost guarantee you that. I love my Glam polishes, and I love the combination of this one. It does need a bit of help though. It is a bit on the gloopy side, so we'll add that to the fall potentials as well. I think that was going to look amazing. I think this one's going to look really, really fun and very unique amongst the ones that I pulled for my fall rack thus far. This one has that jelly base full of hollow and multichrome flakies and iridescent glitters. Very, very unique. So that leaves the Electric Pink. To my eyes, this is a red, so I want to see how this one actually swatches, and then hopefully we can start with a different color because I did not expect to be taking this long on my reds and berries. And in fact, I'm going to swatch this one next to our first comparison, which was Wanda from Ethereal and Sweat Into the Oldies by Nailhood. Definitely different. So this one I still think leans red to me. There is a pink lean to it, like a fuchsia, but I mean, look, even in comparison to that Ethereal, which I definitely categorized as a red, this one looks even redder even on camera. So definitely a very red leaning pink. The hollow one is really pretty, although I wouldn't necessarily classify it, at least at this current moment, as a straight up linear. But I mean, look at that on my skin tone. That's red. That's red on me. So I think we're going to go ahead and pass this one along. It is really, really pretty, but like I said, I am trying to be better about destashing. I'm going to put that in the destash. Pretty, but not for me. Okay, we're going to do one more, not necessarily comparison, but a swatch. This is Wine Not by Sinful Shine. I recently wore one of the Crayola metallic polishes from their Insta-Dry line in their Crayola line, and I was actually rather disappointed with how it ended up drying on the nails. You couldn't see the flakies at all. So I want to make sure that this one is not going to dry the same way, because so far I'm kind of leaning towards destashing the Sally Hansen's. And I was really excited about this Sinful Shine one because of what I thought would be a very similar formula. So I want to see how it's going to dry. Very thick, almost a one coater here. Yeah, pretty much a metallic. I don't really see the flakies on this one as well, which is kind of a bummer. Although I do like this color, so it's getting a reprieve for the time being. Although, where is the Crayola? Did I get one in this color? Closest, I think, was Rasmic Berry. I think it's a purple instead of a fuchsia. So we're gonna keep that one. I don't think I want that in my fall rack. Yeah, I think we're gonna keep it. We're just gonna put that in my collection little pile. All right, moving on to some oranges finally. Oranges and burnt shades. Let's see. So a lot of these definitely have fall vibes to them. In fact, all of them do, except for maybe this one. This one might be more summery. That's from Dreamland. She is vampire. The Dear Santa from I Love Nail Polish is definitely a potential for that fall rack. It's a very, very deep burgundy to orange to green to gold multichrome. And then similarly, this one from Red Eyed Lacquer has a very similar multichrome shift, but it is a magnetic and it has flakies. So I'm not expecting them to be dupes necessarily, but I am curious how they would compare. Okay, so right off the bat, these are a lot more different than I thought they would be. The one from I Love Nail Polish has almost like a mulberry, dusty purple base to it, whereas the one from Red Eyed Lacquer has almost a blackened, maybe deep green base. So very, very different. I didn't magnetize it. I thought that I would compare it straight across the multichrome to multichrome. And here we go, 2 coats of each. I can tell you right now, the one from ILNP is going in my fall rack. That is dazzling, and I absolutely love the deep purple base that it has. The flakies in the one from Red Eyed Lacquer are really interesting, and I really like them. I'm trying to decide, though, if I think I would end up wearing them. So that is how they look unmagnetized. I am going to now go ahead and magnetize the one from Red Eyed Lacquer. So that definitely darkened up the base. You have more of that flash of the multichrome in the line. So hopefully you can sort of see that on camera. Strangely enough, as much as I liked the one from Red Eyed Lacquer, I think I am going to be destashing that one. They're not really comparable to each other even, but I really, really like this one from ILNP, and just by comparison, I'm just not as jazzed about the one from Red Eyed Lacquer, so we're gonna go with it. If I'm feeling a destash mode, we're gonna go with it, right? Okay, so we're going to destash the Red Eyed Lacquer. That's kind of a surprise, but there we go. Wow, we're actually doing pretty good. I've got a whole lineup of ones we're destashing. I'm pleased with that. Okay, let's see. We've got some orangey, bronzy metallics in these 3. Again, definitely not dupes. They are completely different finishes. From Alter Ego, we have Fey Dodo. From, what was this, Spell Polish, we have Apple Thieves. And from Glam, we have Roadkill. Again, they're definitely not even close to being dupes for each other. In fact, the one in the middle, Apple Thieves from Spell Polish, is completely different. This is almost more of like a bronzy copper to gold to green. So I want to see how this one swatches. This one is sort of unusual. It almost comes off as like a greenish gold. I'm gonna have to see how that looks in 2 coats. So this is it in 2 coats. Definitely more bronzy gold than the reddish pink that I was hoping it would have more of a shift to. So we're going to destash it. I just don't see myself reaching for something that's going to be this prominently gold. And it's not like a yellow gold, but like I said, it's sort of that interesting green leaning gold, but I'm just not feeling it. So again, if we're okay destashing it, we're just going to go with it because you've seen me stall out on some of these colors before, so we're going to go with it. Apple Thieves from Spell is going in the destash. All right, so this one I can tell you right off the bat is going both in my collection and in my fall rack. This is stunning. This is Fair Maidens. Can't read the label, but absolutely stunning. It is full of amazing flakies, and I love the base to this. Does appear that the neck needs a good cleaning, but I mean, look at those flakies. Just so pretty. So I do want to add this to my fall rack. These two, Fay Dodo and Roadkill. I was really excited about Roadkill when I unboxed it. I thought it was really unique and pretty. And I do think I still like it. I want to add that to the fall potentials as well. And we're going to swatch this one and just see how it looks. All right, so I did end up pulling a fancy gloss, which was Devil's Delight, to do as a comparison. I thought that that one and the Alter Ego were similar enough, at least in vibe, that I wanted to see how they actually looked swatched next to each other. So on the left, we have Alter Ego's Fay Dodo. On the right, we have Fancy Gloss's Devil's Delight. Again, definitely not dupes, but somewhat similar. The one from Alter Ego has more of like a dusty rose gold orange lean to it. There is a golden shift to that polish as well. The one from Fancy Gloss is a bit more saturated, actually a lot more saturated, and runs almost towards the like garnet, like orange garnet. And while I do like both of them, I am leaning more towards keeping the one from Fancy Gloss and surprisingly getting rid of the one from Alter Ego. I mean, both of them are beautiful fall shades. I just think of the two, they fall into a similar enough category of polishes that I would be pulling from that for some reason I think I'm okay just keeping the one. So we're gonna go with it again. When I feel it, we're just gonna go with it. So Fay Dodo is going to be destashed. All right, that leaves us with our oranges. I think we have at least a couple that I could do somewhat of a comparison of. Maybe just these two. So we have Dreamland Lacquer's She Is Vampire and Glam Polish Without Us, You're Nothing. Again, definitely not dupes. We have two completely different finishes, Flaky and Hollow and Shimmer. We already have one full swatch wheel there. Wow. So I thought this video I would be doing more just pulling from my fall rack, and turns out I'm doing a lot more destashing, which is good. It's just definitely not quite what I thought I would be doing. Or being able to do, let's put it that way. I wanted to do it, but I didn't think I would be able to. Okay, well there are those two, the Dreamland on the left, Glam Polish on the right. Like I said, definitely not dupes. They are quite different in their formulation. Here they are in two coats, a little bit closer in color after we have two coats, but you can definitely tell the difference in the finishes. You've got the flaky load in the one from Dreamland and more of the shimmer and hollow in the Glam. Both are really beautiful shades of orange as well. In fact, I might have the Glam polish in my fall rack. It is kind of a bright orange, but at the same time it has a dusty quality that I think I would like in the fall season. The one from Dreamland I think I might save for the summer, but we're keeping both. Alright, this one from Parrot Polish is Area 51. Pretty unique polish, maybe even like a jelly base, which I'm not sure if maybe mine got thinned down or if that's just its intended formula. We have kind of a glob there on this one. Let's see if I can't remove it. So definitely kind of a blush look on the nail, which was not quite what I was thinking this would be. I was thinking it would be more of a comparison for the Sinful Colors Rorange or Essie's Bedrock and Roll, more of that deep brown leaning red or terracotta. Let's see how it looks with a second coat. It does build quite nicely and it's a beautiful color. Well, let's see how it does compare to those reddy browns. I think it's closest to Kale Polish, what was that, Brick Sidewalk, I think. Possibly slightly similar to that one as well, but not quite. So yeah, I think it's closest to Brick Sidewalk from Kathleen Lights, but definitely different formulation. Brick Sidewalk was more creamy. This one is more of that jelly formulation. Trying to decide if I would reach for a jelly formula in this color, and I want to at least give it a try, so we will put that in the keep pile. Moving on to our brighter shades. This is going to be interesting because we're definitely not in the season for wearing these anymore, or at least I feel like, I mean, my fall rack is up and coming within the next week or so, so I'm already starting to wear what I feel is like fall shades. So I'm curious to see how many of these I end up actually liking, being that my mind is already in the fall mindset. Actually, I could compare a little bit more of these. That one could go there, and this one could go there. And this one right in the middle. So these are the two darkest colors. Again, I don't feel like they're dupes at all. The one from Parrot Polish is Bangladesh Tiger, and the one from Dolish Polish is Blink and You'll Miss It. Two different kinds of polishes altogether. The one from Parrot Polish is a bit more on the squishy side. You have a subtle shimmer going on. And then the one from Dolish Polish has sort of a brighter shimmer particle to it that goes from like a gold to green. So two very different polishes. I do really like this deeper tone from Parrot Polish, so we will go ahead and hold on to this one. And then this one from Dolish Polish, I do love myself some oranges. But like I said, I'm sort of leaning already towards the fall tones. But this one has a beautiful shimmer. Well, how about this? Let's do a comparison of these two, because these two are closer than the Parrot Polish and the Dolish. So let's go ahead and see how these two compare to each other. And I think we're going to just finish up with the polishes that we already have here and then come back with the other color selections in parts 2 and 3 and maybe 4. Okay, so they are definitely different. There's more of a pinky hue to the one from Dolish Polish. There is more of a true orange from that Linderella, which I'm not really sure of the name on that one. It's just got a little turnip on it. The one from Dolish, though, is actually reminding me of Simba. Kind of. Let's see. No, definitely different kinds of shimmer. All right, well, I thought I was going to have an easy D-stash if I had a dupe, but we're going to keep on going with coat number 2 on these two. So here we have 2 coats of each. On camera, I get the feeling they're going to look a lot more similar than they are in person. With those 2 coats, so they are closer than they were in just one coat. The one from Linderella definitely has a more cream formula. The one from Dolish Polish has more of a shimmer formula, so it's a bit sheerer. Do really like both though, so I think we're going to go ahead and hold on to both for the time being. They are a color that I really like. Eventually I might have to come back and get a bit more stringent on myself with some of these, but we're going with it for the time being. Neither of these are really fall shades though, so we're going to just put them in the to be kit pile. Now we've got more of our brighter orange, almost like coral leaning melon shades. We're going to see if we can't pinpoint any that might be similar enough to compare. Wow, so none of these are really straight up comparisons. I could do those two for the closest in tone, just of the ones that we're looking at. They're definitely not dupes though. The one from Nail Hoot is Autumn Landscape, and the one from Top Shelf Lacquer is I Don't Give a Sip. Again, two very different polishes. They have a completely different formulation. The one from Top Shelf is more of a crelly, whereas the one from Nail Hoot's more of a jelly, and you have a load of a gold and pink glass fleck in there, whereas in the Top Shelf you have a blue to green shifting shimmer. So again, both of those we're going to put in the keep pile for the time being, and once we get around to summer I might feel up more like looking at those brighter shades. This one's a bit brighter, I think, than I was initially expecting it to be. I think it had a little bit of settlement going on. So this one might actually be more of a neon, sort of a flip-flop fantasy color than I initially thought. I do really like that color though. I don't think I have it out at the moment. And I like the components in here, so I do think I will hold on to that one as well. Of these, do I see any that I can immediately de-stash? I think I will go ahead and de-stash this one by Cascade Polish. This one is May All Your Bacon Burn. This one came out in Polish Pickup for Rewind 2021. I'm just not finding that I'm reaching for this shade of orange. Again, it might be the time of year. I'm getting into the fall colors right now, and this is a bit bright for a fall color. I'm just not feeling it, so we're going to add it to the de-stash. Of these three, these are pretty similar in type, vibe, if you will. We have Nail Hoot's Tropic Like It's Hot, Sweet and Sour My Main Squeeze, and Poetry Cowgirl Surprise Street Fair. Again, they're not dupes, but they could give you a similar vibe on the nail, so do I need all three? I think for this one we will do a comparison, where we will do a swatch. So I want to see if these end up looking more similar on the nail. So here's just one coat. There's definitely a bit more pigmentation in the Sweet and Sour. The other two, Nail Hoot and Poetry Cowgirl, are a bit more on the jelly formulation side of things. So far I'm leaning towards the Sweet and Sour just because I really like the saturation of that kind of color with this type of peachy melon shade. I do have a tendency of preferring them to be a bit more on the opaque side. All right, and here we have 2 coats of each, the Nail Hoot, Sweet and Sour, and the Poetry Cowgirl. I do think that I'm going to go ahead and destash the one from Nail Hoot and the one from Poetry Cowgirl. I like the composition of both of them, especially the one from Poetry Cowgirl with that iridescent glitter, but I feel like I could add a topper to a more opaque creamsicle color and get a similar vibe. But I do really like how the flakies and the base of the one in Sweet and Sour mix, so we're going to keep that one and destash those 2. Kind of a surprise because I really liked both of those when I unboxed them, but that's how it goes. All right, now for our squashes. Some of these do lean a little bit on the gold side or goldenrod. I think the only 2 that are straight up comparable, well, I was going to say straight up comparable, but that one from Parrot Polish is pretty bright by comparison, but is Zombie Claw's Pumpkin Cream and Parrot Polish Orangutan Orange. Those are the most similar of the groupings that we have right now. Obviously they are different. The one from Parrot Polish is a lot brighter and the one from Zombie Claw is dustier. Simply because it is fall, I am leaning more towards keeping the one from Zombie Claw. But I do like this tone of this. It's not quite tang. I don't think it's orangey enough. It's more yellow leaning than tang, but bright yellow orange. So I think we will go ahead and add Zombie Claw's Pumpkin Cream to my potentials for my fall rack and keep the Parrot Polish. Does need to be cleaned up a bit, but we'll go ahead and keep that one in the just keep pile. Then we have 4 left in this color category. The one from Glisten and Glow is the most unique in this color category. That's Great Barrier Reef Plate Corals. I want this one in my fall rack, so we are just putting it straight there. It's a beautiful fall shade. These 3, let's see, these 2 are the most similar in base. They're sort of this goldenrod squash orange. They both have a shimmer or glitter particle in them. Actually, I think the one from Blush might even have like a rose gold metallic flaky. So I want to do a side-by-side comparison of these. I don't know that I need both of them in my collection. Oh, and the colors are Oops from Nail Hoot and Cha 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 from Blush. So already right off the bat, they are 2 different formulations. The one from Nail Hoot's a bit squishier, and I'm really liking the saturation of the one from Blush, but we'll see how they do in 2 coats. All right, and there we have 2 coats of each, the Oops from Nail Hoot and Cha 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 from Blush. Both of them have very similar vibes on the nail. The one from Blush is a bit more saturated, and I do think that it has possibly rose gold metallic flakes in there. I'm going to keep the one from Blush and destash the one from Nail Hoot. Yeah, it's beautiful. It is goldenrod, whereas this one from Blush is more of like I can't think of how I would like to describe that one, but it's like I think of tapestries and Edwardian or medieval even things with this one, whereas the goldenrod is a bit more just straight up gold. I don't know if that made any sense to anybody, but I'm keeping the Blush and destashing the Oops from Nail Hoot. And in fact, the one from Blush is going in my potentials for my fall rack. Okay, so in that color category, that leaves the Zombie Claw, which was Imposter Orange. This one is pretty interesting. I think I do want to do a swatch of it though, and just see how I'm feeling. Again, I love the oranges, but for some reason, right now I'm feeling in the mood for destashing the oranges because I'm in the mood for deeper fall shades. So we're going with it. Gotta destash while the destashing's good, right? I do really like the pink tones to this one. There's that beautiful pink shimmer. But this one does lean a bit squishy. Not that that's a bad thing. A lot of shimmer particle polishes are squishy. But I just think for this color on my nails, I don't think I would like this squishy. So we're going to go ahead and destash Zombie Claw's Imposter Orange. We are doing good. I'm proud of myself. All right, so these are our metallics to blush tones to goldens and some silvers. I think the 3 most similar shades are these 3 here, We have the Girly Bits, which has no name. Was that Hello Gorgeous? I found a missing label, or label stuck to one of my other bottles, and I'm not sure if that was this one. I'll have to see. I will look later. But these definitely are the most similar. So we have a Girly Bits. The one from Different Dimension is I Am Not Throwing Away My Shot, and the one from Love Angeline is called Amber Acapella. So again, they aren't dupes necessarily, but they are similar in tone. They are this sort of a gold leaning brown with varying types of holographic and or glitter. So we are going to swatch all three of these to just see if I can weed out one of them. I don't think I need all three. So here we have all three. We have the Girly Bits, possibly Hello Gorgeous, but I'm not too sure. Different Dimensions, I Am Not Throwing My Shot Away, and Love Angeline Amber Acapella. Definitely different once swatched. The one from Girly Bits does lean the most gold, so more of that yellow tone. The one from Different Dimensions actually leans a bit more silver. There's a lot more other colors going on in there that do lean it towards a brown. There's also some possibly iridescent flakies running throughout. And then the one from Love Angeline is a brown. You do have a lot of scatterings of a holographic flaky in there as well, but that definitely is the darkest on the nail. And I don't think it's going to be too big of a surprise to anybody, but now that it's swatched, that Girly Bits is pretty gold, so I will be destashing that one. I just don't see myself reaching for this either, and I don't see myself reaching for that one, so there we go. We are destashing all three. Who saw that coming? Wow. I thought I would at least be keeping one or two, but these leaned a lot more gold once they were swatched. So we're destashing all of them, and I'm going to have to check and see if this one is indeed Hello Gorgeous. Okay, so that leaves us just with a handful more. Again, apologies about this video probably being way too long, but next up is a Glam polish. This is Exquisite. I'm thinking this is going to be a little close to that one that we just destashed from Different Dimensions, so we're going to go ahead and destash that one as well. The one from Serendipity, I think I do like. This one is actually a bit more on the purple side of things than I was giving it credit for when I was doing my sorting. So I will be keeping this one. And in fact, I think I'm going to put this in the Fall Potentials. These two I do want to swatch. That is Fancy Gloss's Nude Beach and Polish's Winged Cupid. They are different shades of nude. There's more peach, I feel, in the Fancy Gloss, and there's a bit more beige in the polish. But I do want to see how they end up swatching. So definitely very, very different on the nails. The one from Fancy Gloss definitely has that peachy tone. The one from Polish is definitely more of a gray, beigey, I don't even know what to call that, gray, more gray by comparison. And oddly enough, I really, really like that one. And I do really like the one from Fancy Gloss as well. I will have to see how it ends up looking on my skin tone, but I'm thinking if I don't like it as sheer as it is, putting like a visible blurring base coat like this one from Cupcake underneath it would probably fix that nicely. And then you have all of those warm, beautiful flakies that I really, really like. So oddly enough, we're keeping both. I did not see that one coming. And in fact, I think I want to put both of these in my Fall Potentials to do some comparisons of and see if I might want these in my fall rack. Surprises all around. All right, we are up to our three glittery silveries, toppers, silveries, silvers and toppers. This first one from Glisten and Glow is a hollow, wow, called Fairy Tryst. Then we have a somewhat gold and silver mixed hollow from Love Angeline called Veiled. And then we have a straight up iridescent topper from Love Angeline called Unchanging Love. This is one that I definitely want to set aside for some comparisons. I do have a lot of toppers, and I feel like I would have something at least to compare this to, although now that I'm looking at it, there's multiple kinds of iridescent flakies and glitters in here. Or maybe just glitters. But there's multiple kinds of glitters in here. I think you can see the blue pop in there. That's really pretty and unique. So we are going to set this aside in the ones that I want to do some comparisons of. I think that's the first one from this batch, oddly enough. And then we are going to swatch these two. I want to see how they look on the nail. I'm sure the one from Glisten and Glow is going to be amazing, but I do worry that the one from Love Angeline might be a bit too gold. All right, so there's 2 coats of both the Glisten and Glows on the left, Love Angeline's on the right. And yep, sure enough, once it's swatched, the one from Love Angeline definitely pulls more gold, at least for my own taste. There is a lot of silver components in there. I feel like there's a silver holographic along with the possibly gold holo that's in there, but for my taste, there's still a bit too much gold. The one from Glisten and Glow does have some gold in-ness to it in that gold shimmer, but I really like the rest of it. So I will be holding on to that one and destashing the Love Angeline. All right, there we have it. We are destashing 19 polishes from that. Wow. Wow, that we are off to a great start, especially considering we were starting with a color family that I really didn't think I would be wanting to destash too much from. These fall colors I'm very into, and I really didn't see myself getting rid of too many of them, but pleasantly enough, we were able to destash 19 from that first grouping of categories. Thank you for hanging out with me for such a really long video. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to edit this down to, but I am looking at an hour 43 minutes of film time, so hopefully you guys enjoyed looking at a whole lot of polishes, doing some swatches and comparisons and all that good stuff. If you are new, make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below if you like nail polish content. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos, and I will see you in that next one.